Welcome to The Hustle with myself, your host, Ben Anderson. Today, with a great friend and a mentor, Dave Meltzer, the CEO of Sports One Marketing, known as a top 10 keynote speaker from Forbes magazine, a two-time national best-selling author. I describe Dave as an innovator, a thought leader, humanitarian, mentor, and a business coach. Launching his career with Lee Steinberg in sports entertainment, serving as a CEO, founding it with Warren Moon, another mentor of mine. Dave negotiated over $2 billion in sports contracts in his career. Also, in a more global sense, served as the consultant on movies and TV projects such as Jerry Maguire, Any Given Sunday, For the Love of the Game, and HBO's Our List. Dave, welcome to The Hustle.
Oh, man. My other brother's a doctor.
The other brother, right?
Yeah.
So, tell me about the weekend. We talked about just coming back from the All-Star game. How was that experience for you?
You know, I get to do so many great things. That's why I decipher my life into activities. Some I get paid for, some I don't. So you're a baseball player. You're probably like me. You'd pay money right now to play second base for the Padres.
Oh,
right?
All day long.
But they pay that guy $2 million. And we know one thing. I guarantee if you play second base for the Padres next year, they'll be at least as good as they were last year in last place.
Right.
So the O'Malleys could save like $3 million. You could pay them $1 million and $2 million could go backwards.
I'm available.
Exactly. Well, it's important to understand because a lot of people, they put that on me. Oh, you're so busy. You work all the time. I said, well, slow down, brother, because I don't work. Like if you see things as work, you're doing the wrong thing. I didn't think baseball was work when I played. I didn't think football was work when I played that. I don't think what I do is work. I don't think doing this with you, I was excited to come over here to do this. It's so much fun. I'm not going to tell you this, but it's true. I probably would pay to do this because I enjoy it so much if I had to. And so I think the weekend represented that. The other thing that happened during the weekend is that I allow things to happen. I'm very, like you, OCD. I'm a control freak.
All day,
right?
All day.
Organized. And I've learned that if you want to make God laugh, you got to come up with a well-developed plan. So I do come up with a well-developed plan so he can laugh at me, and then I can allow things to happen the way they were supposed to. But I do believe in this. I'm conflictual because I believe in goals and visions, et cetera, but I detach my happiness from them now. Where I used to get so upset. I mean, it was so out of control how messed up my weekend was logistically, to the fact that my wife and I show up to the airport and she literally looked at the board and goes, "We're going to Charlotte? I thought we were going to Charleston. I never would have done this." That's how my vacation, right? Work vacation. I don't work, but that's how my weekend started. And like every interview I was supposed to have didn't happen, but then I go to a soul food place and there's Tony Dungy and Terrell Pryor and the CA agents and Clay Thompson. I had a much better, productive, and accessible weekend than I could have imagined, as well as planned.
And talk about, the plan, how it started out, and how did you just go through the motions and make the best out of just making connections along the way?
Yeah, so to be honest, the two of my three organized interviews, so it started with, we got in late at night. I was in the wrong city, according to my wife. So I had to say, go on the plane. And the internet didn't work for half the flight. And I'm like trying to find what we can do to
save that time.
Right?
Right.
Well, anyway, we have early morning. I'm taking Miles to go see one of the guys that plays basketball. And I can't even remember his name now, right? Bismack. Yeah, so yes. Bismack. We're standing at his door. It's pouring down rain, 9 a.m. And literally he misses the interview. He got sick and we missed that interview. So then we go do Fungus, the wide receiver from North Carolina. Yes. While we're on the way, he cancels. So interesting enough, though, while we're in the midst of this, I end up getting these guys from eCoach are in town. This other guy that's an announcer for ESPN in town. And lo and behold, we end up with 3 different interviews, including Clay Thompson for 10 cents. That the CA agent ended up knowing me and telling me how much he really appreciated my podcast with Rob Purnell and how he has all these other guys that he wants. And we ended up having this extraordinary day, including lunch with my wife and daughter, who had a lot of fun looking for a nail place.
In Charlotte, not Charleston.
In Charlotte, not Charlotte. And then the night we had dinner with Vayner Sports and also CJ Anderson's group.
Love that.
And then went to the game, which was the skills and the slam dunk just Miles and I and the girls. My daughter studied for tests.
Love that.
It was a perfect. And then Sunday was even better. It just we really didn't have too much Sunday, And I ended up with Sue Bird, who's the greatest college basketball.
Oh, UConn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
114-4, gold medals, national championships, and also WNBA championships, still playing at 39.
Wow.
Guard.
Yes.
And an extraordinary person. So that's how we started out. Everyone slept in. And then we ended up in this crazy day of kept meeting people. I interviewed Casey Stern from MLB.
Yes.
And met a whole bunch of other Turner broadcasting guys we met. Mm-hmm. And then the final was going to, we just wanted to get something to eat. We had to be at the airport at 4 o'clock. And we went to go get something to eat. And we were about to go to Crackle Barrel. You could have had an hour and a half. And Nana's soul food was right there. Didn't line out the door. End up seeing Tony Dungy and Terrell Pryor.
Made more connections.
Yeah, and then just family time. Like it all, when you make fun and have the great attitude that you want to do this stuff, you don't have to do it. And, you downplay the negative stuff that can occur, and you literally have a family that does the same thing. You're just having fun with. My favorite vacation of all time was what I call the Griswold vacation. I had a motorhome that I only used for tailgating, and somehow I thought I could actually use it. It was the Griswold. It almost went down the river. I broke off the thing on the top because I went under a bridge and forgot I had my satellite up. The awning fell off in Arizona at 116-degree weather. I mean, that's the vacations that I love and the life that I love. It's not what we plan, it's how we react to what we plan.
I love that. And family time fits in there.
Always.
Getting back last night, back on business, how did your family understand your balance? Because you give them so much, yet you're so available for someone like myself who's building a brand and a business. If I call you at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, you're answering the phone. So how do you manage being and giving all people all things at all times, it seems like?
Right, it seems that way. And that's the key, is you have to make everyone in their perspective. So although I'm what other people would call working, I've included my family into so much. And I also not only am present, but I show appreciation. Let me give you an example. I forgot one thing. We did go to accommodate my daughter and wife, Adrian Peterson and Ashley Peterson. I do some business coaching with, and Ashley has this cosmetic company. She was having a pop-up, and she's like, I know you're busy, but can you please just stop by for Entrepreneur, feature her a little bit.
Yes.
Of course, I showed up for her. She was so appreciative. Well, meanwhile, my wife and my daughter loved the high-end pop-up, right? There's like 20 cosmetics, and
I see.
And then the Atlanta Housewives were there, which made it even more fun. But my wife participates in, like yours, in helping me. And she called me over to this woman named Skittles. I forgot Skittles. And I forgot the Rise Venture at Top Golf. I was helping those guys. And CJ Anderson went to me. I forgot all this stuff I do. But it wasn't planned. That's why I'm forgetting it.
Right.
Well, anyway, she introduces me to Skittles, this ultra entrepreneur who has a huge following and then also has made millions of dollars in China. Who's also inviting my wife to China to go meet her factory people. Right. I mean, it just goes on.
Such an experience.
And everyone's getting something out of it. But I'm present for everyone. I was showing up, and I know it's funny because I've heard 3 times since I've been on the interview, hey, we have to respect Dave's time, because I have branded myself and live by the 5:20 rule. 5-minute phone calls, 20-minute meetings. But if you show up and are completely engaged with someone,
right,
you don't need, it's not the amount of time, it's the quality of time.
Yes.
And so, I'll tell you, the least favorite thing my son did, just to tell you, because I worry about him the most, my 8-year-old.
Right.
Those you have young kids, you don't get that time back.
7, it's the same thing. Yeah,
you don't get that time back. Is he told me the Klay Thompson thing was boring, and I'll tell you why. Because we had to wait an hour and a half. Klay was late, and so in his mind, and I couldn't, because I was working some. I couldn't give him my phone all the time to keep him occupied. So it was boring to wait. And meanwhile, his perspective is skewed because all the other kids were jealous that he's inside the booth. And then when Klay came, he got a high five, and all the other kids were like, oh my God. and Miles' perception is like, I didn't really get to talk to him.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
his perspective.
Dude, it was the worst. Yeah. That was the worst thing he did. Favorite thing was going to the game, just me and him.
Yeah.
Right. I had 2 guys with me, but I purposely sat him to my left on the aisle. So, during the game, I was mostly engaged. I see dads do this all the time. They take their sons to the game, but they're looking to their right the whole time to the guys that they're doing business with anyway and having phone calls.
Right.
It's okay to engage and bring people to a game for hospitality and for business development. But if you're going to bring your kid, he's number one. Because remember, they don't listen to you, they watch you.
That's right.
And when you make them the priority over presidents of companies, and that's a big deal to him. And I could tell that was his favorite thing. And it wasn't because you saw it on TV. It wasn't because the NBA Skills Day was that exciting. It was because I got there, I immediately told those guys, hey, I'm taking Miles into the store, and we're going to get some cool stuff. Then, Miles, what do you want to eat? Miles, you sit here, and my arm was here, and I was only 90% of the time engaged with him going, did you see that?
Just present.
Yeah. And I see that mistake by dads and moms all the time. They think they're going with their kids somewhere, but if you're not engaged in paying attention to them and really participating, then don't take them.
Right.
Because you're just hurting their feelings.
Yeah. They can watch it on TV.
Yeah. Without you. Yeah.
Well, I love that we have a lot of the similar background. You've got a doctor brother that's highly educated and is intellectual and all those things. I've got a brother who went to Stanford, got his MBA, right. Got in under the scholarship of being biracial.
That's my Wharton brother.
Right?
Yeah.
We both have Jewish in our blood,
right.
So we have a lot of the same background and history. So
driven by guilt,
right? Jewish mother guilt, a new type of thing that you only know if you go through it yourself.
It's a martial art.
It's a martial art. Yeah. It's weapons and everything else like that. So tell me about what has shaped you. That can be a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah,
but
real short. I'll give it to you. I wanted to be rich like you. We didn't grow up with much, so I attached my happiness to being rich. And what I learned was money doesn't buy love or happiness. I used to make the joke it'll rent it. But that's not true. What I learned through my process of making millions, losing millions, and making it back again, real simply, is that money allows you to shop. And shopping makes you happy if you shop for the right things. And it's really important for people. This is my happiest year of my life. I'm 51 because I bought 2 community centers in Africa, impacting millions of people. That's shopping. I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm like you. I don't walk the streets of Calcutta giving everything away that I own. I don't sit on the streets every weekend handing out food to the homeless. I do what I can when I walk by, but I make a lot of money so I can shop for the right things and impact people in a positive way. What shaped me to that was losing everything. Because I attached my happiness to money, I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. It wasn't even about me. I wanted to buy her house and a car. When I did that, I was lost. I shopped for the wrong things, surrounded myself with the wrong people, the wrong ideas. And what changed my life was really, and I really explored this more that I'm interviewed so much, but the day that I had to go, I was running Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment, CEO of the most notable sports agency, hired because I was so successful like you at a young age, right? You're Midas.
How did you get that job? How did you strike that position?
Right. If I unraveled how I got that job, it wasn't because I went to law school. It wasn't because I was involved in sports like you in college. It really was this. I had developed such great skills, extraordinary knowledge, situational knowledge, relationship capital, and I had such a strong desire that was aligned with Lee Steinberg. So how did I get there? My friend asked me to help him. He said, you're one of the best negotiators I've ever met. Can you represent me with my reality show? We're going to go meet Lee Steinberg. I wasn't looking for a job. And so when I went in to meet Lee Steinberg, I was there to be of service to my friend. I impressed him with my skills, my knowledge, and my desire. And the next morning he called me. Little did I know, Jeff Morad, who later owned the Padres, Jeff had left to go buy into the Diamondbacks. They had sold their baseball practice for $90 million, and he was looking for a new executive and called me and said, well, I'd be interested in that position. I think I believe everything pushes you in the right direction without losing everything, right. Without doing all that stuff. All this stuff never would have happened the way it did, and I just trust the universe at all times. So I don't see things as no. I learn from them, all the lessons, and I also have faith that it's pushing me in the right direction. And I'm open to all, I don't limit my point of entry. I'm open to all kinds of things. That's why both of our careers are so varied. We do so many more things. That's why we're sitting here both today with microphones in front of us. A year ago, we would have both laughed. You said that we had our own shows,
Crazy.
But we don't limit our point of entry. We allow the universe to provide us opportunities, and we provide value in those opportunities and trust that we're smart enough to make money from it, derive purpose from it, and be passionate about it. We're not passionate first, right? If we were driven by passion, both of us would be probably in baseball or football, making nothing. But we're driven by profit,
That's right,
and then we figure purpose, We're both purposeful human beings. And then more importantly, we become passionate about it. We don't go, and 99% of the people are like, I just want to do what I love. No.
Right.
Figure out what makes money, dude.
Right.
Then figure out a purpose, which is your love, and then be passionate about it, which will make you consistently love it.
Consistently love it.
Yeah.
So you were open-minded, you were paying it forward, adding value, you struck a great job opportunity, which launched you, and then take us through kind of the path from there.
So I worked with Lee and took a different perspective on the practice, just not agentry. I wanted to build marketing and I wanted to build branding. So I really looked at the legacy side of the brand, the philanthropy side of the brand. Lee had his personal problems. He was an alcoholic. And the hardest thing about working with Lee was that we had to protect the brand and protect Lee. So eventually, Warren Moon, the Hall of Fame quarterback, and I, who were partners, we had to spin off our own company and leave Lee and let him bottom out.
That must have been hard.
It was not only emotionally hard, but imagine this. We wanted to protect Lee. So to the public, this is why I don't care what anyone thinks. Because the truth vibrates the fastest, and sooner or later it comes out.
I love that. The truth vibrates the fastest.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Always comes out.
Always.
And so I know it'll resolve itself. I don't care about other people's conditions or judgments. I don't care. I want 1 million people in the world to be impacted by me. 3.999 billion people in the world could not know me or even dislike me. I don't care. Because they have the wrong perception. They don't know me then. Because my intentions are pure. Well, Lee, we had to let him bottom out. We had spent millions of dollars. We had taken great risks to protect him. Well, the 2 years before he went public and sobered up, from the time we started our company, we were berated by a lot of people that we left Lee. That Warren stole Dave Meltzer from Lee to run the same company.
I can imagine the scrutiny there.
Lee even said, because he was an alcoholic, he even at one time said to me, "You stole my identity." That was really hurtful. Like, I had sacrificed, not just me, my entire family had sacrificed so much for Lee Steinberg.
Right.
And he was projecting because he had a disease.
Yes.
And now today, truth comes out. So many people called and apologized to me when Lee went public with his alcoholism. And even today, we're so close with Lee, so supportive with Lee. Warren and I both help Lee all the time. We're really close friends. It all came out.
Was it like a call, you and Warren, let's take the high road? Was it, let's just let this thing play out? So people will understand?
It was driven mostly by Warren more than me, because Warren approached me to start the business, and my biggest concern was I can't do that to Lee. And then he explained to me, I've known Lee since I was 21 years old. We've done all these things together. This is because he had more experience with this type of behavior and problem and disease. I didn't. So he said, "Dave, this is to save his life. We're not hurting him."
Wow.
He said, "But we have to protect him. We can't tell people he has this disease. It'll come out, but we have to take the high road. Let's just do good business with people that want to do business with us."
I love that. And that was how many years ago?
10.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So is that after, before Warren got inducted?
So after. So 2009, he got inducted in 2006.
Got it.
Yeah.
So was that like it for you, seeing a great friend, like a brother of yours, getting a gold jacket?
It still happens because I'm so close. We do marketing with the Hall of Fame. I'm so close to so many. The only thing that was up there with that is when Seattle won the Super Bowl and Warren got a Super Bowl ring. Because I think the biggest thing that's happening with Warren Moon is, one, most people don't realize that he spent 6 years in Canada because they wouldn't allow a black quarterback.
That's so profound.
Most people don't remember.
It seems like a million years ago that was the way the world worked.
Yeah, it just hurts me that even some of the young African-American quarterbacks, when I tell them that story, they're like, "Oh, shoot, I just thought he was a Hall of Famer."
Imagine his career had been played from the beginning. 6 more years of stats and numbers. And
It's interesting because, in all fairness, I love Warren's perspective on it. There's 2 things he takes perspective that no one knows. One, I don't think I'd be in the Hall of Fame if I didn't go to Canada, because I got so fired up and focused. If I was a pro making a couple million, I'm not sure I would have had the discipline to become the greatest quarterback. But I was sitting in Edmonton knowing I was the greatest quarterback, or had potential to be. So I threw 10,000 passes. I did everything. I treated my body like a temple. It saved him in some respects.
And that's truly the definition of the hustle. It's taking everything that you can do, every talent you have. I was talking to my old college last week, Biola Baseball. I asked the kids what they wanted to do. One kid said he wanted to be in the Major League Baseball. I said, "Great, you better, if your talent's 9.9, you better be a 9.9 in talent, but also in effort."
Right.
How many people do you see being in the sports industry or in life that just don't reach their potential because they don't have that extra desire, that grit?
So many, in fact, the majority. Take Edelman, right? He's not a 9.9 and he's the MVP of the Super Bowl. He's a 9.9 in effort and attitude. Where the greats are, the Warren Moons, LeBron James, the Michael Jordans, they're born with 9.9 talent.
Yes.
But they have, the Ben Anderson in them. They have the Dave Meltzer.
Yes.
In fact, I love Rudy Rudiger. I'm hosting the Rudy Awards for NCAA. We're going to give a Rudy Award for the best student, the best athlete, and the best business person in college, the underdog.
I love that.
But what's cool is Kobe Bryant saying, Rudy was my hero too, Dave. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? You were born, you're no Rudy.
Yes.
You're like 8th grade in Italy.
Yeah.
Everyone's recruiting you. He goes, no. He goes, every time I started to complain to my dad was in the military. Every time I wasn't working like Rudy, my dad would hand me that DVD, tell me to watch Rudy, and don't waste my talent. That's what the movie means to him, right? He was born, like for us, it's make the most of our talent, but that applies to people that have all the talent in the world too, because you don't last unless you make the most of your talent. That 9.9 effort and attitude, which is what makes us successful in business. Yeah, we both have lost games, right? And we lose them every day in business.
Every day.
But we have one thing. We have Rudy's attitude. He's the most persistent person I've ever met. If you think it's extraordinary how he got into Notre Dame and got to play, that's extraordinary. The movie's extraordinary. You got to hear the story of how he made the movie, because that is incredibly persistent.
And that's you and I are ex-athletes that never truly made it in our sport.
Right.
But that, like Warren didn't make it in the NFL from the very beginning, gave us this desire and drive to overcome all obstacles that get in our way.
And it's not fair. Like, it's not fair he went to Canada. But let me tell you one other thing most people don't know. The Buffalo game, up 32 points at halftime to go to the Super, right? AFC Championship.
Oilers, right?
The Oilers.
Yes.
And most people, like, oh, poor Warren. They pulled Warren out of the game. So in
I don't
history,
remember that.
No one does. And they brought him back too late to bring him back into the game. And then they had a bad call, which nobody ever talks about, where he would have won the game. And you can watch it. If they had a replay today, it wouldn't happen.
Crazy story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's just like most people don't remember Warren went to Canada. This is the problem with perception. Here's the way I see it. I worry about the what. What am I going to do, right? Because I can't achieve it unless I can see it and believe it. And that's what I try to get kids to do. You got to see more. You got to ask big. You can't dream about being a pizza delivery boy just because the only strong role model that you have, your dad's dead, your uncles are in prison, and you have one uncle that's a pizza delivery guy.
That's right.
That can't be your dream.
Can't be.
Got to be big. So you got to know your what. Then you got to be inspired. You got to understand how every day, and this is what you and I are, because I pull in this parking lot at 4 a.m. like you do, and I'm waiting in the car waving to you.
Yes.
One day my car broke down. I asked if I could take your Rolls Royce. I was like, wait. I go, Ben will let me borrow it.
Any day.
Exactly. So I was going to the peninsula. I had to look like I was rich.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're there at 4 a.m.
Yes.
And so how do you get inspired every day to be there in the gym, at the office? And then how do I make my possibility of what, my probability of inspired why, how do I make it my reality? I'll tell you one thing. It's not just discipline, strategy, and awareness. It's faith.
Faith.
And I don't care what religion you are, what philosophy or spirituality you believe in, I still define faith. Do I have faith in what I'm doing? Right? Because if you have faith, now you can execute probability to perspective. Faith is what stands between your perception and reality.
I love that.
Right? When I have a perception of what I want to be or what I can do, it's only faith that gets me there. Because faith, it's like keeping in business. People ask me, what's the number one rule of entrepreneurship? Stay in business, bro. Every day, if you stay in business, eventually it'll evolve into something successful. Might be 8 months, might be 8 years, might be 80 years, but you'll be $1 billion company. Stay in business every day. Same thing in life. I have perceptions of what I want to be. I have to have faith in order to make it my reality. Because I know once I have a perception of what it is, it exists. Now I have to allow it to happen. And faith is the only thing that gets me there.
And I want to talk about that faith, because a lot of our audience is mortgage industry professionals, real estate agents, and a lot of things are changing for that industry, which is arguably the biggest industry besides technology maybe in our country. You get wealthy on real estate, buying and selling homes, more than anything else for the average everyday homeowner. It's a fractured industry. It's a changing industry. It's people have lost a lot of faith because of the cycle a couple of years ago. So I want to talk about someone like your caliber that's been around people that are successful, people that make billions, people that make millions. Let's talk about the industry today. Where do you see the housing industry, and what advice do you give someone who's losing their faith today?
Yeah, number one, our country was founded on one principle: protect the landowner. Right? I'm blessed to be a lawyer, a businessman, a real estate guy. I probably have owned more real estate than most people, and fortunately even lost it because I took bad assumptions. I didn't have the right help. If anyone should be bitter about the real estate industry, it should be me. I made one bad assumption that I could always borrow against the equity of my property, and didn't realize banks could fail and they had no right to give me money, even though I had huge equity. I lost over $100 million because of one bad assumption. People should have faith in the real estate market because of the inception of our company, is to allow us to own land. And every law, believe it or not, is biased towards the landowner. And so it's our job to figure out. Now, it always evolves, but it's a secular, things go up and things go down. Mm-hmm. But what is remarkable to me is people with faith, they understand if I'm more interested than interesting, if I'm a student of history so I can learn human nature, I actually can make more money when the market changes.
That's right.
The last thing I want the market to do is stay the same.
That's right.
The smart people know I want change. I want, in anything, I want change because historically I can figure out how do I make money in mortgage, real estate, title when the market's going down? And how do I make money in those fields when it's going up? How do I make money when people are through a change of automating things, less personalized? How do I make money? And that's where you and I, as co-mentors to each other, I love, because you're a great mentor and inspiration to me in living my life with a 360-degree perspective.
Thank you.
But moreover, I'm helping you understand this perspective of you're changing the face of real estate by providing people a personalized touch with automation and customization, which most people, you got to understand, millennials are the ones who right now are detached from the market don't know. There's other gaps in the market where people don't know their own value of a property because they don't understand shared economy of Airbnb and VRBO. So if you're on the rental side of things, I think there's a lot of older 70, 80-year-old people that don't know the true value in that area of their properties because if they looked at the rental income they could get from VRBO, and I in my opinion, I stole a beach property from someone because they never rented it. They only saw, traditional property managers take 25%.
That's right.
They were doing the math. There's nothing sold for 3 years, which to me was a great indicator. That's a good market. But how did I learn all that? You know how? Studying history. I went to real estate meetings and I found the oldest real estate guys I could find, and I took them out to breakfast. And I said, I just want to take you. I got to pick your brain.
Experts.
I'm like, yeah, dude. How would you make money? And like, I asked them, why aren't people renting these on VRBO? Oh, they don't understand it. Ding. How many guys your age own these properties here on the boardwalk? 90% of us. We go to breakfast we meet here at the Olive thing.
That's right.
All of a sudden, I'm like, you all meet there? I'm like, can I come to one of those breakfasts? Right? I'm not like our brothers. Right? I didn't go to Wharton. Stanford rejected me twice. Okay? They did. Undergrad and law school. But what I have over our brothers is I understand human nature because I literally ask, hey, and guess what? They all felt super complimented. Like, this young guy is asking me for my advice. They felt important.
Probably shared everything they knew with you.
Yeah, of course they did, because they want me to be rich.
Right.
They want me to learn. Oh, if I was your age, this is what I do, Dave. Ding.
Ding.
Yeah, like I don't, they're not teaching that at Wharton.
It's funny what you learn when you just ask.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, great.
You just ask the questions.
And offer help.
Help me.
Yeah,
help me.
And offer help to them.
Yeah.
I kept saying to them, they give me these nuggets. I'm like, what can I do for you? Well, explain to me what you're talking about, right? And I'm like, well, this is how VRBO works. So meanwhile, 2 of those guys that were at the breakfast are making a fortune like me renting out their property. Wow. Not paying 25% to a property manager that was doing VRBO anyway.
Right. So you can literally take the internet, cut the middle person out of it, think like an innovator. How can I use this to make money in the long run? And realize that homes aren't going away, financing's not going away. Those things are
our laws aren't going away. Our tax laws are exactly.
That's
it's
right.
all for the landowner, brother.
All for the landowner.
Yes.
So either if you're in this industry, get going on becoming a landowner. Partner with smart people that can help you bring those ideas to mind, or find a better way to get financing for those that don't know what you can do with that money.
And the other thing you do that's genius, Ben, is you're in the picks and axes. right? So I've learned from mentors, hey, Dave, I don't want to sell gold. I don't want to sell gold. I want to sell the picks and the axes that all the millions of people that are going searching for gold.
Yes.
Right.
Tools.
So the tools, right. And you have the extraordinary tools. You have the extraordinary background, situational knowledge, experience, and relationship capital to allow people to make their customized choice of educated choice of who do I want to help you by how I'm going to help you. So if I only like bald, short guys that dress in $5,000 suits, I'm going to see Ben Anderson's picture and be like, that's my man. If I want a schlub that's really smart, that's me unshaven in my t-shirt.
There's someone for everybody.
But people like this.
And people lose hope. Like last time the recession that came about, there was like 1.2 million realtors and 1 million loan officers. And when the recession happened, it number shrunk to like 700,000 or 800,000 of each. And it's because people lost faith and lost perspective. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the business now, another recession is going to come eventually. It's been a decade of profitability and
if you're not making money right now, you're doing something wrong.
Way wrong.
So you got to figure out, this is going to change. So now figure out how you're going to make money the other way.
Yeah, when it goes down. So think about the market going down now and think if you can make money on a down cycle, then when it swings up again, then it's when you become a millionaire.
Right. And that's why I love your solution, because if I'm on there and I think when to buy, how should I finance right now, et cetera, I'm not going to look for the young person on your solution.
That's right.
Right. I'm gonna look at the guys. I've been in business 60 years, and at least talk to him.
Even
if I don't relate to him technologically.
Pick their brains.
Add
value to them.
You don't have to use everyone on your platform. You can just talk to them and ask for help, and they'd be happy to, because they see it as an opportunity to get you or re-engineer your vision. That maybe my experience, because I'm helping you, will overcome your fear of doing business with someone that's 70 years old.
What do you think of these big box companies? Purple Brick, Zillow, all these companies looking to kind of cut out the salesperson and in a way that it maybe isn't best for the consumer, because that consumer doesn't get to choose who they work with. You're entering into a blind sales funnel. You're entering in all your information online, and then Zillow will ship you off to someone who you don't. Like you said, you didn't just go walk into a random restaurant and say, do you know about real estate? You sought out the person who owned the property on the beach because you knew they were an expert, and that allowed you insider knowledge.
Yeah,
so,
I'll tell you easily. There's a beer commercial out right now that represents exactly why you don't want that. And it shows this robot that's outrunning everybody. He's outperforming everybody. All this stuff is going on that he's doing better than human beings. But in the end, he looks through the window of the pub, and the 5 people that he was competing in all these different sports against and beating them are enjoying each other, having a beer, emotionally connecting to one another, sharing their knowledge in a human way. No matter how powerful artificial intelligence is for Zillow and all these other big box companies that are pretending as if they can understand your needs, people buy on emotion for logical reasons. They don't want to be sold to. They want to go shopping with a friend. A computer cannot be a friend, number one, nor can it truly understand what your needs are, because it can't understand your emotions.
I love that.
Right? You got it. So what do? You combine the efficiencies of technology with the emotional aspect of having somebody that can relate to you, so you can go shopping with a friend and have someone that you can trust.
I love that.
That they can understand the subtleties of success, the nuances of success that exist only from personal relationships. So if you want to have a computer that looks from the outside of the pub, or do you want someone to have a beer with inside the pub that is going to share in the accountability, in the gratitude, in the forgiveness, in the inspiration of purchasing the most significant purchase of 99% of the people in America's lives. If you want to do that and trust some AI that has no emotional aspect to it, you're a fool.
And where we're going with this, I mean, that was so much powerful vision that you shared with our team here and with our people. I hope you all know there's hope. Stay the course. Use your truths. Ask for high-level advice. And human connection will never be out of style, So you've given so much powerful information to our team. I can't wait to have you help me build this platform, because I firmly believe that what we're working on is going to change the landscape of lending and mortgage and buying and selling forever, because we're focusing on asking the right questions, talking to the right consumer, and giving them what they need. That's a human connection, but also expert advice. So for all you've given us, I know that your Unstoppable Foundation and your books, are legendary. How can every listener get behind your initiatives to support humankind?
I would love, number one, to share my content. So it's at David Meltzer. David Meltzer, dmeltzer.com. But most importantly, if you're going to share my content, remember simply just do good deeds and be kind to your future self. Pick up trash, smile at people, open doors. We're human. And trust me, if you do good deeds, share my content to help inspire others to do the same, we're all going to be better off. I'm just so proud of you, and it's been an honor to be on the show. So thanks, Ben.
Dave Meltzer, you have the hustle, my friend.
Right on.
Thank you for following us on The Hustle today. We met with Dave Meltzer, an inspiring story of someone that worked for everything he owns to become one of the world's greatest sports agents, lost it all, and got it back tenfold. Let's follow his story on The Hustle.